Welcome to Small Practice Support Information Session number 7. In this Law Society of Ireland recording, Lisa Nolte talks to Justin Purcell about website user interface and converting inquiries into fee income.
Just to formally announce, this is the Law Society Small Practice Information Session 7, website user experience and converting inquiries into fee income. So I'm delighted to have Lisa Nolte here with me from Insight 6, which specializes in the legal sector and also just working with customers around customer experience and customer insights. So you're very welcome to the call, Lisa.
So Insight 6 is we're a customer experience business. So essentially we help businesses understand, how their customers and their clients feel about doing business with them. So we actually, we specialize in the legal sector. And I suppose our relationship with LawNet in the UK has really helped us build our credentials within the legal sector. So, yes, I'm sorry, I've just lost the slide there.
That's all right. So when I was just doing a little bit of research into this, I sort of thought, customer insight, what is that in customer experience? So I sort of said customer insight is the understanding of your customer based on their buying behavior, their experiences, their beliefs, and their needs. So that's kind of like quite an academic kind of scenario or explanation, should I say. And then customer insight is about analyzing data to better understand your customers. So this is all about trying to pick up more information about who's coming through the door, who's inquiring with you, and trying to understand better how you can make their experience better.
Well, that's it exactly. So we specialize in measuring the customer journey at all points that they encounter. And then, we measure it, and then we try and help businesses understand what the challenges are along the way. And actually we use different methods to do this. One piece of work that we would do with clients is customer experience reviews, and that's essentially mystery shopping. And we have trained researchers who will contact a business and with an inquiry, and then they will measure their experience at all points of the journey. So that gives our clients third-party feedback on what is actually happening within their business. And we also do all sorts of surveys, whether it's phone surveys, online surveys, or even one-to-one. We do have some law firms that like us to go and have one-to-one meetings with really key clients and gather really in-depth insights there. So I suppose the other thing about our business is we just don't gather the insights for you and give you the information. We're there to help you understand what they mean and what needs to be done to address the challenges. So whether that's team training, client journey mapping, so mapping the journey, understanding the challenges, finding fixes, or even just some individual coaching and mentoring with team members.
Yeah. So I think today is about exploring what the customer journey is about and some of the learnings that have come out of this work that you've done with your clients. Is that?
Yeah. So really the aim of today is to help everybody understand how to get the most out of their website so that they get more inquiries and convert these inquiries into business. And so what I really hope to achieve today that is everyone will understand, how to create a great first impression on your website, review how to make contact easier for clients, and then help you maximize leads and increase conversion rates. So at the end of the session, everybody should understand what they need to do in terms of reviewing their own website and just being a bit smarter around the conversion process.
Okay, so will I move on to the next slide then? So this is all about first impressions.
Yeah, this is it. Look, first impressions are everything. And you only have one chance to make a great first impression. So in terms of a website and a first impression, like this is your digital shop window. So when a potential client logs on, they are making all sorts of assumptions about your business based on what's on your website. And actually, most people will only browse for about 30 seconds before they might disappear and have another look at another website. So you've got about 20 seconds to capture people in terms of your content. So the first section there, like people. So this is so important because this is the personal side of your business. And it's not just about having the legal team on the website. For me, you need everybody that works in your firm on your website, because your potential client is going to interact with them at some stage. And also, I think it's very important from a team motivation point of view that, so the receptionist, the accounts people, they should all be there because they are part of the team and they need to be made feel important. And there's a firm in Dublin, actually, Lehman's Solicitors. They actually have an office dog, and the office dog is on the people section of the website. And also they're a good reference website because the photographs are very, it's really good quality photography. The photographs are very casual, actually. There's no ties, and everybody working in that firm is represented. So that's, if somebody wanted to have a look at a website, I would recommend having a look around that one.
So it's very bright colors. It's very appealing. It looks like people are relaxed, that they're in control, they're confident. They even, in fact, look like they're having fun at work. So this is, this is really about the first impressions of, as opposed to just an old worldly view that maybe people might get by seeing just certain people dressed very traditionally.
That's it, exactly. I mean, it's really about looking at your website and saying, would I do business with me if I saw this website? And I do think that the firms that have lots of imagery of their people, even images of their team interacting together or interacting with the client, that's all very personable stuff. And that's what makes somebody feel like, I'm going to actually contact this firm because I feel that I would, be comfortable dealing with this firm.
So would you rank pictures and imagery as very important in that sort of just initial, when I land on your website, in just for me to form an opinion of whether I would proceed any further?
Yes, definitely. And definitely people, because that's where you get the personality coming through. I stumbled across the website a couple of days ago, and the homepage image was of hospital beds. I was a bit, I was a bit struck by that. I'm not sure what the message was, but it just seemed, it was a bit daunting, really. So it's just about getting it right when people land on the homepage.
Yeah. And then you have reference there to testimonials and contact location and practice areas. How important is that in the sort of priority or hierarchy?
Yeah, so definitely in terms of practice areas, it's just be very clear, make it easy to find, for somebody to find what you do, what you can do to help them. And it's just having that really, really clear. If there's some practice areas that you specialize in, get those, up at the top. If you have any really great stories around, testimonials around certain practice areas, get those out there. And, on testimonials, so this is the thing. So if somebody is shopping around, which does happen, people do shop around to find a legal firm because they could be new to the legal world and it might be their first encounter. So they definitely will Google, but it's testimonials and lots of them. And with dates on them as well. So Dillon Solicitors and Rathfarnham actually have a very good approach to this, and they have lots and lots of testimonials, and they're all dated. They're up to June 2020, because there's nothing worse than having testimonials. You don't know how long they've been there, and there might only be 2 of them. So it's regular testimonials, and the best way to get testimonials is to keep asking your clients for feedback about the experience. Ask them how they feel during the experience, at the end of the transaction, ask them how happy they were with it, and ask for feedback. And that's how you'll generate
So I think we've just temporarily lost Lisa there so you just need to unmute yourself there.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. So we'll just move on then to the next side, which is all about what happens when ease of contact, when
Yeah.
individuals approach your site. What are they expecting?
Okay, so basically, they've decided they want to use your firm. You need to make it really easy for them to get in touch with you. Contact forms are really good. So just to have that really clear, just have a very clear section on contact us and have all your details there. So contact form is great. Also have your email and phone number in case the contact form functionality doesn't work. And also at the moment, it's really important to have messaging in relation to COVID, and just to let people know that, you know, we are still operating, but if there's been a change in the process, it's really important that you explain what that process is. Again, Dillons have a very good example of this on their homepage, just saying you were still open for business, and they've all the contact details of the fee earners visible on the site, and they also have explained that their client service executive is picking up calls, etc. So they're reassuring their clients that they're still open for business. And then the live chat, actually this is a really great option, because what you can do with live chat is capture people while they're on your site. So you're actually encouraging some dialogue before they might leave your site and maybe move on somewhere else. So it's a good option. And for the Moneypenny, which is a business in the UK that manages live chat for businesses, they've actually reported on the increase of live chat versus this time last year. It's gone up 180%. And the number of inquiries coming through live chat has increased in these times as well. So it's around 65%. Where 35%.
So that's interesting to talk about live chat a little bit, because there's been a reluctance amongst maybe some of the practitioners to use live chat. They don't see it as a very useful tool. So you're seeing a large uptake here in numbers of inquiries that are coming through.
Yeah, and this is it. So like there are two aspects. I mean, you have the chat bot, which is a bit impersonal still, but there's live chat available whereby there is somebody managing that chat, and they can filter the questions for the potential client. So that can even work out of hours. But that's a wee bit more personal in terms of capturing leads, and it's probably a better option. You know, the contact form is good, but you're still depending on the client to complete, the potential client to complete that. But if you've live chat, you're automatically disrupting that person while they are viewing your website. However, if your website is not appealing, there's no point in investing in live chat, because people are just going to, you know, switch off. So you need to make sure all your ducks are in a row in terms of what your website looks like. And then you have your live chat to support that for the people who are browsing your website.
Okay. And will we launch a poll there just to get an idea of how many people are actually using? So I'm just going to launch a poll there on. Actually, I'm going to change that one. I'm going to how many people are using website facilities. So this is do you use live chat? So it'll be interesting just to see how many people will be using that at the moment. So I'll just move that away, and we'll move on to the next slide, which is really around this sort of the whole idea of new inquiry management, customer journey. So what happens when a customer comes in through the door or makes contact with you? How are you dealing with that?
Yes. Okay. So this is really, really important. As you can see, there are quite a number of steps here within this process. So firstly, there's that initial response. So how is that being handled? So somebody contacts the firm, either they send an email or they send an inquiry via the contact form. There needs to be a response back to them straight away to let them know your inquiry has been received. But also you need to set expectations in terms of when somebody will come back to you. We would work off a standard of 4 hours, up to 4 hours for a response time. Now, it depends on what your specialist areas are. There might be some types of firms that respond more quickly, but that, you can do research around that to understand what the standard is. But we would recommend at least somebody responding within 4 hours, but you need to just let the potential client know that. And if you state a response lead time, you need to make sure that somebody does respond within that time. Now, I appreciate that, the fee earner may be in court, might not be able to. That's fine. There just needs to be somebody nominated to handle that and communicate with the potential client.
It doesn't have to be the lead partner. And the other question I was hearing is how many people are actually answering the phone? What happens if you're working remotely at the moment and you're not able to answer the phone? How important is that?
Yeah, well, you see, this is it. So that's yes. So I understand that, but there needs to be a process. So we know that people are working remotely. So as per the Dylan's website, it's very clear that you can ring, and the client service executive is actually, she's there answering the phone, and she's filtering all of the calls, and then she's filtering them out to all the relevant people. So it's about process, and it's about somebody being responsible for the process and managing it.
Okay.
So,
very good. And so then if you're not answering the phone, you have a process in place. It's interesting that on the web poll there that nobody is using live chat or a chat version of answering leads.
Okay.
So this,
okay.
and then the second question then I suppose is, like, are people answering their emails then in good time then, I suppose?
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, we would, in terms of email responses, the 4-hour response time, really that's what you should be working within, but somebody has to be managing that. So either it depends who the email goes to, but I mean, it's good practice just to have, it's obviously people get busy, they're dealing with other matters, but it's good to get into a discipline of, setting a time, putting a calendar note in to check. Check your communication, check your emails every few hours. But actually, I mean, I feel for new business, just because the potential client has communicated by email, that doesn't necessarily mean you respond with an email. Really, the online inquiries, the idea really is to convert it, to turn it into a phone call. So I would always say, just pick up the phone and talk to the person. It's more personal. You can build a rapport, and it will make the conversion easier for you, because you can go back and forward on email, and it's just very impersonal. And just, it should be noted that potentially the potential client has reached out to another couple of firms. If they haven't been recommended or referred to a firm, they will be looking for somebody that can help them, and they will reach out to a few firms. So whoever picks up the phone is probably more likely to convert that client. And of course, when you're talking to somebody, then you can enable your business development skills, and it's, that's very simple. It's around empathy. So you can talk to the person about, about their matter. If they're buying a house, you can talk to them about their experiences at their first home. You can engage with them on your experience of purchasing the house. Just make it a wee bit more personal. But actually, that conversation might highlight some other legal needs. So it could be somebody that is buying a home because they have they've left their spouse, and they're going to need a separation agreement as well at some stage. So it is good to talk, just to understand the client a bit more and understand what we call it lifetime transaction value. So everybody that comes to your firm, that one transaction is not necessarily everything they're going to need in a lifetime. So their first experience with you is going to determine if they're going to come back to you. And you can also talk about the benefits of the firm as well. It gives you that opportunity to talk about any unique services that you might have. So maybe the individual has difficulty getting time off work Monday to Friday, so do you do Saturday morning visits? Whatever it is, you can just, these are all the little things that help the client make the decision if they're going to hand over their business to you.
Yeah. So it seems like there's a number of stages or processes in this. First is when they land on your website, are you easy to get in contact with? Then if I make contact with you, that you get back to me in a timely fashion. Then when you get back to me, are you sort of, I read a nice line, do you answer with a smile or do you respond with a smile? Are you helpful? Are you asking relevant questions? So maybe there's a need for a little bit of a cue card for maybe the person who's doing that initial response, asking relevant, pertinent, empathetic questions. They sound interested, not bored, that they are ask probing, but in a gentle way, questions to find out exactly what's happening.
Well, this is it. Like, it's all it's all down to relationship, and like, people buy from people, and it's very easy to get caught up in the process related to whatever the transaction is and get very technical, and maybe have a lot of jargon, but actually somebody ring the law firm, just they need help and they just want to be really confident that the person they're speaking to is able to help them and is interested. They're not necessarily interested in what the actual process is. They just need to have that confidence. And that's where building the relationship comes in then, because you're giving people confidence that you'll be able to help them. And I mean, even, there should be a leads capture process within every firm. So as the leads come in, who's responsible for recording them? And is there a process to follow them up? So there is a firm that I've worked with that they discovered that their follow-up rate was quite poor, which actually is not unique. The percentage of follow-ups in Ireland is 8%. So this is quite low, really. So 92% of new inquiries aren't followed up, and actually that's on par with the UK, and we know that from our research in the UK as well. But so having that transparency, having it all recorded, means that so this firm that I worked with actually put a weekly meeting in, and they have a look at all of their new leads, and they talk about, right, what happened, did you call them back? And that's their process. They've put a process in, and the thing is, it's good to understand if you don't get the business. It's good to understand why. I mean, sometimes I am completely aware that there is some business that you maybe don't want, but there might be other reasons why you don't actually get some business, and that's really good to understand those challenges, because then as a team you can talk about maybe what things you need to do to change your process or change your communication in order to win more leads. So, but it's just, I mean, I think for everybody really, the takeout is, do you have a process? Also, is it actually working? So that's it's a good sense.
But that's a really, really important sort of step at the end, though, to have somebody who's gathering all the leads together and have some sort of a review process, so that the person may have come through the whole process to the end, but then nobody really gets back to them in a relevant or adequate way and lose the business. Yeah. So that can be very disappointing. So then just to introduce, though, a little bit around the whole idea of mystery shopper. So I'm going to launch a quick poll there on mystery shopper to see whether anybody's using them. Maybe you might just explain the process of how that works, as we've just sort of gone through a process already. So
hopefully everyone is aware of the mystery shopping concept, and yes, it feels like something that is only relevant to hospitality and retail. However, any business that has a customer or a client should be measuring the journey. So as I said, like, this is our specialist area at Insight 6, and what we do is we employ researchers and we train them, and they basically contact the nominated client firm with an inquiry, and it can be anything from buying a house to starting a business. So we work across private practice and commercial, And really what they do is they start from the website experience, and they document a report on that and their experience, highlighting any challenges or any improvements they think would help. Then they measure the experience of contacting the firm. So for example, if your initial response time is 4 hours, so the researcher would then measure that standard and report on whether that had been achieved or not. So there's the initial contact piece, how that is handled, and also how they felt, because this is really, really important. It's not just about what you do or what you don't do, it's about how the person actually feels about the experience. And then assuming that somebody has come back to them, then they will report on the experience. When they get to talk to a fee earner, they'll answer a list of questions. Yes and no answer is very objective, and based on the standard that we would say is what really good experience looks like. And again, they do a summary report on that experience and describe what happened. And then the final piece in the jigsaw is the follow-up. So what will happen is the researcher will have a conversation, they'll explain that they'll have to have a think about it, and then they wait for 3 days, and then they report on whether somebody came back to them within 3 days to ask them for the business, or if they didn't bother. So this is where we got our statistic from in terms of the follow-up rate of 8%. So unfortunately, the initial conversation can be quite good, but more often than not, no one will pick up the phone again to that person and say, just coming back to you, we had a chat about you buying a new house, and look, I do this all the time, I can really help you, so would you like to proceed? So that's something that can be improved across the sector, actually.
Oh yeah, that whole idea of picking up the phone and responding back to people, don't be afraid. It's a powerful tool. It's right there in front of you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we're coming up to the sort of end of our time. If anybody wants to ask us a question there on the chat, we'd be delighted to take it on board if anyone wants to ask us a question. And just put up just a summary there of the last slide there, Liza. It's been really, really, really useful and kind of inspiring to hear what you have to say. So the takeouts that I'm taking from it is have a process from start to finish. Follow up. You have to engage with clients to make them feel special and wanted. So there's a little bit of personalized kind of attention to detail when you're talking to people, relationships.
That's it. Yeah.
And the question is, are Irish law firms losing business from failing to follow up on initial queries, or failing to follow up once they've had an initial contact? So it seems there's plenty of work.
Yes, Justin, and you're right, but actually it's not the it's very simple steps, and it just takes a bit of time, a bit of focus, and some commitment. It's just very simple things that can just really make a massive, massive difference to the performance of a firm.
So there's just that attention to detail around the process from when people initially make contact with you, the type of language that you use towards them, your response levels, your interest levels, your personability levels. Are you engaged? Are you interested? Are you asking kind of relevant, probing questions?
Yeah.
And then are you following up?
Exactly. And I think as well, the process has to be a shared process across the team. So everyone is responsible. And that then means that your firm will become more client-centric. That will really help you on your way to achieving a client-centric culture within your firm.
Okay, so that's great, Lisa. Is there anything else you want to add in there at the end? I think it's been a really informative session. I've definitely got a lot out of it. That the process is really important.
Yeah.
And following up is nearly as important.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, follow up.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today, Lisa.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And next week, we've got Michael Killeen of the CX Academy who's going to talk to us about website customer experience. So I hope you've enjoyed today, and we look forward to talking to you next week. And you can register using the link attached, and we'll follow up with the slides. So thank you very much, and Slán.